I remember 1979, 78, when I was in television. I make a series called Golden Dagger Romance, and it was sort of like a kind of talk of the town at that moment. And then so they were Ng Si Yun, the owner of seasonal film, just got Jackie Chan in his movie. What do you call this? Snake claws and eagle, things, and sort of like he had a good situation in the industry. That's why he wanted to make more movies. So that's why he asked me to do Butterfly Murder. I didn't really decide to come out to make a movie that soon, but I said, this is a chance that came to me. I definitely would grab the chance, and I came up with quite a few stories. As a matter of fact, I came up with a bunch of stories, and this is one of them. But it was quite open about the subject of it. So and because I read something, and I realized that actually to go into martial action movie, period action movie, I think there's more room to expand than just like just action per se. That's why I want to go into a kind of strange world with the science fiction, yet is still like in the past. So I would say that it's like a futuristic period movie. I didn't really want anything. I just want to make a movie. So I think basically everything came out from my subconsciousness. The way I chose the people, the way I want the visual to be like that. Sometimes some of the scene that happen in my mind, I want the scene to be that way, because it basically is my gut feeling. The way I look at the characters, I want the way they look. It's very funny too, because I don't want to have this. I want the hair to be very free, and not a lot of dangling things around it. And the costume is very Shakespearean, right? It's very strange the way they talk. The way they stand is very stagey, and I like the feeling of that. I want that movie to be like that. That's why I end up in that way. When you say what is the theory behind it, I think it's basically everything coming together from my experience and from my the way I feel about the mystery of this futuristic science fiction stuff. It gives me that kind of sensation to do something like that. It's a lot of mystery and a lot of unpredictability of a character, inside a character. You never know where they come from. You never know whether they get to their very primitive killing instinct, sort of like a well-developed, established person with a very animal instinct. This is something very strange to the audience, because they didn't really have it psychologically. They were not prepared to see something like that. Something totally alien to them. Basically, this genre was very, very interesting, because basically, if we just abandon this genre, then it's quite a waste, because I thought that we should go into doing something with it. Maybe we can revive these songs and change it into different mode of thought, and maybe when do something with it, change it, and so let it make me more interesting. This is the whole intention, and I was thinking that maybe I could do something with it, because because that was a very traditional, they would say that this is very outdated material. It's like there's no way you can modernize this stuff. And as I went along with the pursuit of this traditional material, it's getting more and more interesting to me as I went along with this kind of direction. And I found out so many things about the kind of material that you can work on. And so it ended up like most of the stuff that I'm doing now is that kind of material. So maybe because of the moment in the 70s or in the early 80s, everybody was trying to get a hand into the story of our city, and I was the one who hang around in fantasy, dreaming about my childhood. That was my first movie, so I was tempted to go into the world of cinema, to make a movie to show in a theater, and also to have a vision of a big screen. What sort of thing you want to put on a big screen, and kind of character do you put on the screen and story is something that mesmerized me at that moment. And I was quite carried away because I was not very sure what I was doing anyway. I was trying to be a director of a movie. And when we start to talk about the material, the script and everything, it came to me as in the way that I was not really in the position of knowing too much about making a movie at all. It was just like quite experimental for me. We're dealing with something we don't know. Something was quite unpredictable. Including the butterfly, including the way I thought of how to fight, including the actors, including the experience I had in making movie, and the way I thought about things, the pattern that I tried to break, and then this is all unpredictable things that came after the script was finished. So script is more like it's like a groundwork that we based on, yet is not an absolute Bible. We have to read through, and follow. And also the location is very interesting. It's in Taiwan. It's not in Hong Kong. It's somewhere that I didn't really know that much, and it was like my first time to go to Taiwan, and I have to make a movie there. And strange enough, all the people around me are not, some of them are professional, not too many of them are professional. So this is quite funny. I suddenly realized that, it's quite an experimental project. Well, we always have this very strange feeling with butterflies. We have a lot of story about butterflies, about them being a symbol of your dream. We have this saying of Lao Tzu, who woke up in one day and said, I've dreamed of a butterfly, but is it me that the butterfly dream of? This is a very famous quotation we said all the time, because are we dreaming of our dream, or is of the person in our dream of us now? This is very mind, distortion, logic. And also we have butterfly symbolizing purity, love, and everything. But the way I look at butterfly, because every time we look at the butterfly, they also have this eerie feeling. It's sort of it symbolizes death. It symbolizes something pattern with colors, but the pattern of colors shows some sort of like a unknown mystery, which can be very scary. Because when you see this butterfly, dry butterfly, dead butterfly, all of them put on the wall, somehow it implies a crucifixion, implied death, implied horror. And I also have a scene visual of butterfly, hang around on a dead body. And it was very eerie feeling. That's why it was to me that suddenly we make a movie with butterfly. It's sort of like a contrasting, this harmless being to something very damaging. The contrast, somehow it was some kind of a romantic thing that to do. So it was again I said it was not something very theoretical. I'll try to theorize it now, but it was very gut feeling that when we made it.
就喺白旗人被殺之前嗰陣，
喺咩地方？
就喺我頭先搜殺嘅地方。做咩？
奇怪啦，我同一時間亦同阿芝喺一齊。
We read a lot of books, material, and we saw a lot of documentary, and we talked to the expert who wrote the book, and also who told us that he knew so much about butterfly. But then when we really get into handling this butterfly, the matter getting very complicated, because the butterfly is not doing what we want. The first thing the butterfly didn't do was the butterfly didn't fly. The fly simply, like a piece of paper flap on the flat top on the desk. We put the butterfly, and the butterfly is like a piece of paper, lying on the table. And the second thing, the butterfly will probably come up in the sky and come down very soon. So these sort of things were a problem for us. The first problem, the butterfly didn't fly because the butterfly had been gone through this transportation for hours, so the butterfly got very tired. That's why when the butterfly arrived in our location, the butterfly couldn't fly. They're too tired, and also because of the rustling in the box, the butterfly were pretty much wounded, and that's why they couldn't fly. So we have to really protect them in a good packaging, put them in a piece of paper, wrap them up in the box so they wouldn't rustle about in the box. And by the time they arrive, we have to give them water maybe 24 hours before we shoot. And about the length of time they are in air, there's something we have to really blow them with a fan. We just blow this butterfly in the fan and let them fly in the air. Well, they can stay for the most with 30 seconds, and they came down. This is the rule that, and every time they came down, we have to pick them from the floor again and collect them and put up the net and do a second take. This is very, very strenuous and heavy workload for everybody. Every time we shoot a scene with like this, everybody get very scared because it's very, very a lot of work and very difficult to handle the situation.
老三，
老十，老闆嚟咗未？
未喎，
聽講最近你將鐵旗幫搞到天翻地覆啊！
算係打贏咗一場仗啦。
照咁睇，十色旗嘅風頭都俾你紅。
We were trying to shoot that scene several times because we have to catch. It is a very smoky mountain. It's like a mountain with a lot of sulfur, so there's a lot of steam coming out. And we've been there for several times, 3 or 4 times, because basically the weather is very bad, so it was raining. So that time when we got up there, and we're not very sure about the position of the rock, because the rock are very soft. It's all sulfur, so we stand on it, it melt, you know. So we have to find a very firm position for the audience, for the actor to go on, to stand there. And so end up it was like that. It was not really planned in a way that, you know, stylistically, you know, basing on something, but it was like, okay, the red people standing here, the white people standing there. No, the white people, the red people can be more obvious in this way, and the white people stand. When in '79, when suddenly, you know, we were regarded as new wave director. So one time I talked to An Hui. I said, what are we about to do as a new wave director? What is the thing that we have to do? Because we don't know what to do. Because like basically we are trying to be filmmakers, and we don't know what's different between us and the other directors. And we don't know what kind of thing we have in common among our so-called new wave director. So in a way, we don't know the different. We don't even know how much similar are we. So basically, I never know there's any new wave at all. So when you see when we say a new wave, definitely there's some sort of philosophy or a concept behind the change of you know, the film language or the way film's about, right? But here it's not change. Only this whole bunch of new guy coming into the industry, the business, to do some movie, and the story, the way they shoot the movie are very conventional. Nothing really different from the past. Only that they use more location, maybe. They do different kind of editing. But basically, I don't see that much different. I believe that was like a cradle that brought up the baby of what we have now in our industry. But actually, I was not the one who realized that much about what we are doing far back there, because I was not very sure that we knew the philosophy or the ethic behind it, you know. So I was. So that's why I asked An Hui, said, "What's this definition of new wave director? Can you tell me what are we, so I know that what I should do?" But basically it's a whole bunch of people who have experience in television, who went out to the industry to do try out different concept. And it's like a try-out period, and some worked, some didn't work. But I don't know. Maybe again we never come back to making butterfly motor again, because we never got back to that mentality again. Because the mentality was quite quite pioneering, and also maybe high, to some degree, naivety and also ignorance, because we didn't really know that what kind of problem we run into making this kind of movie for the first time, for the first movie, with no support of technically, no support of experienced people, and we just bombing doing it. It's like we went back to this old time when Milich's brother was doing, all these very primitive type of special effect. I never took Butterfly Murder as a film that represent as my debut in movie, because I thought that was not complete. The movie was not really complete. The movie was something what I have done, but it was not complete. So I don't know. So, and come to think about it, I don't really know which movie is complete. Every movie is not complete to me.